No, Sagrika, am quite at a loss because the word strategic vision can mean different things to different people. You know, what do we mean when we talk about a strategic vision? Is it an economic strategic vision? Is it a geostrategic strategic vision? Is it a scientific strategic vision? What kind of a strategic vision are we talking about? And when we talk, let's say, put all of them together and talk in terms of India's placement in the world, I think we've come a long way from the 1945 balance of power which characterized global politics between 1945 and 1991. In the last 2 decades, we have evolved and transformed ourselves, and as I earlier said, are a part of that multipolarity.
Right.
So when you talk about strategic vision, unless and until you do not define it in concrete terms, you know, are we talking about India's Monroe Doctrine? Are we talking about India's larger power play with the other powers of the world? What exactly is the strategic vision that we are talking about?
Okay, that's an interesting point. And in fact, let's pursue that argument and ask whether in fact we are that lacking in strategic visionary leaders. Jayaprakash Narayan, we had a Vajpayee who was well respected within the neighborhood. We have a Manmohan Singh who is in fact the first leader to be invited by Obama as his state guest. Now, are we so lacking in strategic visionary leaders? We have leaders who do command respect worldwide.
And let's not forget
I want to make two things clear. The first is, it's not about one or two leaders, a Jawaharlal Nehru or a Manmohan Singh or a Vajpayee. That's not enough to have leadership. The second is, it's not about having a piece of paper. You can have a piece of paper and say by 2039 India will be a great power. You can have a piece of paper and say we have this wonderful strategy in place. But tell me, which other nation which aspires to great power status has such abysmally low levels of literacy and education as India? About 40% of children in school in 7th grade cannot read. About 70% cannot do a simple arithmetic. I'm talking of those who are going to school in this country, private and public schools. And we have no leadership which really looks at these issues. Where is healthcare in this country of any quality? There is no major economy in the world which has such third-rate healthcare system as we have.
Right.
Look at urban challenges. Rapid urbanization, urban ghettos, and the cities are coming to a standstill. And look at rule of law. The judiciary or the police and the way we now depend on criminals. Somebody talked about criminality. The reason why there are criminals in politics is, if there are no criminals, we'll now invent them. There's a market demand for criminals in this country. So strategic vision is not a piece of paper. It's not about one or two leaders. It's about the way we govern the country.
That's a very interesting point.
Conflicting interests.
That's a very interesting point. Manish Tiwari, we're going to have to go into break. But, you know, if you look at, for example, the example of China, Wen Jiabao may not be universally recognized as a leader of strategic vision, but in fact, China is well governed and looking after its billion people's welfare much more ably than India, as many would argue. We'll continue with the debate when we come back.